Thank you for that. Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. We got the Copa America knockout stage. I'm with AP. How's it going?
Not bad, man. Long time. How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. We'll talk about Washington soon because I'm actually liking a lot of the stuff they're doing. But yeah, we'll get to that another day. I'm going to show the bets. So the first game we got Paraguay against Peru. And when I'm looking at this game, I'm going to go with draw because for me, Peru. Okay, outside of Cueva, can anyone even really play anymore on their team? And that's my main question. I think Paraguay's the better team, but every time I watch them, they desperately need a number nine, and they just don't have it. And everyone's small. They like listen. If you're going to have a small team, at least Peru plays and they know they're small. Paraguay, they'll put in like 40 crosses a game and it's just going nowhere. That's why I think this is actually going to turn into a stalemate and a draw. And honestly, if you put a gun in my head, I actually think Peru beats them. Like Paraguay has serious problems scoring. And like I said, where's the number nine? And why are they throwing crosses to Almiron when he's like 5'6"? That's one of my problems with Paraguay. Like Paraguay's look good, no doubt, but come on, it's probably going to be a draw.
Yeah, for me, I'd say Paraguay is probably the one team in the knockout phase that I probably watched the least. They're the kind of team that, if you're not playing well, they could surprise you. Peru's been pretty solid, but kind of like with your issue with Paraguay, my issue with Peru is they're really missing Guerrero. Lapadula, he hasn't been a goal threat. The most that I've seen from him this tournament's been his work rate. Outside of that, he hasn't been a goal threat. But I do think Peru has more options in terms of players who can score goals, especially from their midfield. Like you said, Paraguay, they depend on crosses, long ball. Depending on, I'm putting. I can definitely see how the draw is probably the most likely scenario, but I would give the edge to Peru if you put a gun to my head just because of their coach. I like what Gareca is doing with Peru. I'm just when I watch Paraguay, it's like nothing special. Yeah, they're solid at times, but I don't see any way for them to win, a string of games here in the knockout phase.
Well, and they're not even like they were before. Remember, they used to just play defense and play murder ball, and they would hit you on a counter. They don't even do that anymore. Like, and so like that, I hear Brazilians saying, "Oh, I'm scared of Paraguay." No, they really can't even defend all that. Well, I actually think Peru defends better than them. So yeah, that's one reason why I gave that to Peru. So. All right, we can go to the next game. We got Chile against Brazil. Now, I want to start this off with saying this isn't the same Chile team as before. Like people need to remember that even Vidal is not all that good anymore. Like this isn't the same Chile team. Like this is a really old team. In the same way, like Peru, they're like hoping Guerrero can come back. It's kind of the same thing with Chile too, because they're really old and like they're still relying on Isla. Like that's not good. So I think Brazil obviously wins. I mean, you could go that route, but I'm going to take Brazil in the spread -1.5. I think they'll probably win by 2 goals. But like you said, like we were talking pre-show, we got to see the lineup because this could get pretty stagnant with Brazil because you already know the issues. You can explain it to everyone. But depending on lineup, I would definitely bet the -1.5. I think it's a good time to bet it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it depends on the lineup. I hope Teach comes out with a more aggressive lineup. I just don't want to see Fred because he's not really offering anything to the team at this point in the games I've seen. With Chile, I mean, they're really missing Alexis. They really haven't had much in terms of offense from what I've seen this tournament. I think two of their handful of goals have come off penalties. And beyond that, they've been toothless in attack. Their defense has been pretty solid, but it's nothing that Brazil isn't capable of breaking the game open, as we've seen in the group stages. Once Brazil's able to get ahead, they just break the things open. So I definitely can see two goals as a difference here in this game. But yeah, I mean, I just want to see a more aggressive lineup from the start. I know Cheech, he's been making a lot of subs, especially after the first half. So if he does go cautious, hopefully he will go with something more aggressive. But yeah, I definitely like your pick here with the two goals. I think that's more than likely.
And Chile's got a problem. They have a problem in terms of managers too, because ever since Sampioli left, they don't really have that same system anymore. And plus, like, if they want to like press Brazil, remember how they used to like 6-7 years ago? They would press the hell out of you. Come on, they everyone on that team is like 35 years old. There's no way they'll be able to do it. And I understand, like, we want to see that old Chile. I'm just telling people they're not coming through the door, and they're not bringing up any young players. So like, at least with Paraguay, you could say, okay, there's some young players coming up. There's nothing coming up for Chile. Did you see they're relying on like this English guy to score goals? I think his name's like Benjamin Beverton. Like, he's actually not bad, but it's just where we're at for Chile. When a South American club has to start like importing people from other countries, that's when like things are getting bad. So
yeah, and really from the games I saw, the only guy that shows any sort of spark in the final third is Vargas, and we know how he's doing at Atletico. So,
and that's not a good sign, because again, Brazil's got the best defense in the competition. Like, that's just not a good sign. Also, another bet, you could just bet Brazil to win and Chile not to score, because I don't see him scoring. But I mean, anything's possible. All right, let's get to the next game. I think this is the best game coming up. Colombia and Uruguay. This is one where, listen, I don't even have a lean either way. Like, I was trying to see your opinion. Colombia, they look good against Brazil, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if we can take much from that. And they still managed to choke the game away, which isn't good. And then secondly, with Uruguay, they haven't looked good. And this top Uruguay should be better. Honestly, I think Uruguay on paper, I think they have the second best roster in South America right now. But as you know, some old guy like Tabares, he can't even walk out on the pitch anymore. Like, did you see he's literally using a wheelchair? So that's where I'm at with Uruguay. I actually think this is going to be an ugly, like 0-0, 1-1. Uruguay wins on penalties. I wish I had a definitive pick for people, but these teams are just too even matched. And then like with Colombia, like, listen, I liked Rueda trying to like be alpha and leave James at home, but do they really have anything else to come in and replace them? That's where I'm at.
Yeah, so out of all the games in the knockout, I definitely think this is the biggest like toss-up game. But if you're asking me which way I'm leaning towards, I'd say Uruguay. They just have better tournament experience. When Colombia's counting on guys like Borja to get goals, or the only way they scored against Brazil was a golazo. But in the other games they look toothless. I haven't been impressed with them this tournament outside of their Brazil performance, which they still choked away.
Yeah, they managed to choke it away. And literally the only thing I really even like about Colombia is the center backs.
Yeah.
Other than that, like there isn't a lot. And that's one thing I'm surprised. Like, when you think of Colombia, you normally think, okay, they're going to have some pace. Okay, you're going to get different styles of play, combinations. Dude, they don't even play with pace. They play really, really slow. And that's going to be an issue. Because, I mean, against Uruguay, you have to try to beat them with pace, right? Especially like their left and right back, they're slow as hell. You got to try to beat them down the wing. I don't even think Colombia is capable of that. So
Yeah, and they don't have to exactly match, but they also need to play physical against Uruguay, and they just don't have a nine like they did in previous years that could be that physical guy to fight with those center backs that Uruguay has. So I think it might be an ugly 1-0 win for Uruguay. That would be probably my pick, but I definitely think it could be a toss up draw. In a draw, that's definitely not out of the picture. I'd be surprised if Colombia is able to find a result. To be honest,
yeah,
I just haven't been impressed with them this tournament.
well,
I don't think they, like you said, they don't have James. He could at least provide some sort of magic or spark. Outside of that, I really haven't seen anything this tournament that makes me say, okay, yeah, there's a difference maker in this squad that could steal a game like this.
and you got to think Uruguay is going to turn it on eventually. You would think, but I've been surprised by how bad they've been. But like me and you, we've always expected more from them. But like you said, when this comes down to, if this game turns into a game of murder ball, like you're not going to beat Uruguay. Colombia's just not physical enough. You're 100% right. All right, let's get to the next game. This is one I really want your opinion on. We got Ecuador against Argentina. Listen, I think this is right for the upset, because this Argentina team, it might be the worst Argentina I've seen in my entire life. We've seen some bad versions and we've seen some good versions. This might be the worst I've seen. And then Ecuador, like, listen, you got Bolaños up front, and when he's playing against Brazil, we know nothing's gonna happen. But that guy is legit quality, even though I think he's stuck in Mexico, might even be in China now, but that guy's quality. And then I like Ecuador's back line. Like, yes, they don't have some of the smartest players in the tournament. No one's going to accuse them of that, but I actually think they're going to be able to sit back, and I think they might actually be able to have possession. Normally, Ecuador doesn't have possession against good teams, but I actually think they're going to have a little bit of possession. I think they nick a goal. I don't like this +1.5 because, as you can see, the odds suck. But I'm sure on most sports books you can get it like +1. Argentina, they don't look capable of beating anyone by more than 1 goal. Like, I know what they did to Bolivia last night. It is what it is. So I think Argentina is in trouble here. Now, you still got Messi, you still got really good players, but am I being over dramatic that I think this is the worst coach team in the tournament at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I haven't been impressed with them. Yeah, they haven't really conceded goals. I guess that's the best thing you can say about them. But in terms of like the young talent that they brought, I just haven't been impressed with any of their younger players this tournament. It's really been, and Messi hasn't even been, the Messi that we know, but it's been enough to carry him through. He's been able to show up enough to get them the results. So I have a weird feeling about this game. Like I could definitely, it's one of those games, like I don't see a draw. I don't see anyone winning 1-0. I see it going the complete opposite way. I see this game being open potentially. I could see Ecuador definitely stealing it, or I could see Ecuador collapsing and just opening the floodgates to Argentina. They're that frail of a team that I could definitely see them just collapsing without giving too much merit to Argentina, because from what I've seen, you have DePaul, Lo Celso. Those two in particular have not impressed me at all. They've been lackluster. Those players any other year on an Argentina team may not even be in the squad.
No, they wouldn't be in the starting 11. And here's the thing with me. I was actually thinking, okay, if I'm Scaloni, I don't even know if I can make my best 11. Like, I actually have problems with like their Volanchi position a lot. That's one area where they've struggled in for years. And I think that's really like the root cause, because Messi, he's going to have to drop back, because we know Ecuador, they're going to park the bus, and they got very physical midfielders. So Messi's going to have to drop back, and then like I know that like one player that is really getting under my nerves is Papu Gomez. I know he scored a goal against Bolivia, but I'm just like, I was saying, like, how is this guy in an Argentina team? And then like you got like, and even Aguero now, like
he doesn't have the same sort of he doesn't give you that dynamic play that he used to give as a number 9. Like I would definitely start Lautaro over him, especially against a team like Ecuador.
Because he can actually run and he can actually pass. Like, yeah, that's the thing.
And he's more physical.
Yeah, and that's the problem with Aguero. Like, okay, it's good if you're going to just stand in the box all day, but you have to like win a few aerial battles and do something. And then he ain't winning any aerial battles against Ecuador center backs. Those dudes are huge. So Arboleda, like, he's actually been playing really good this tournament. Like, I think Ecuador will be able to shut him down. I'm curious. Like, I do see one thing you're looking at, like the over under goals. Like, I actually could see this going over 2.5 too, because I think Argentina is going to feel the pressure. Like, I think that's why it's going to be open. Just them feeling the pressure. And Ecuador, like, for me, this is the best Ecuador I've seen in quite some time. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at their starting 11, like this is how much of a red flag it is to me. I can make a legitimate case, say Di Maria is still a starter with the squad that they brought up. He's a starter on this team. Who is in better form? Who's played better in the tournament as a winger than him on Argentina's team? Yeah, like, and that's a red flag.
It is a red flag, and like with Argentina, yeah, like I wouldn't be able to choose an 11 because there's no one who stands out. And like you said, like I was actually, call me naive, but I was actually expecting Lo Celso to come in and actually have a really good tournament. But man, he looks garbage, man. And that's where I'm at for Argentina. Like, I think they're going to get bounced out, and their fans, like, and I don't know how many of the Argentina games you've watched. I've suffered through 3. They're really, really ugly games, by the way. Hopefully it changes with Ecuador. Hopefully it's a really good game. But man, they played really ugly as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of that's just because it's, Uruguay, Paraguay, and even Chile, which has given them fits over the years, even though it's not the same Chile, but you can almost say the same thing about this Argentina team. They're kind of like Chile in the way that they're an aged squad, and their young players just haven't stepped up to fill that void.
Well, yeah, and seriously, like, and they get so much pressure from the media and everything, and I should see them collapsing. Like, I think we see a collapse. When is this game? Is it like Saturday or Sunday? I think we see them collapse. So
yeah, I think it's Saturday.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Yo, thank you for coming on. Hit the like button, subscribe. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Nice talking to you again.
Yo, yeah, we gotta get on, and we gotta make sure we gotta get on, and we gotta make sure we do something on Washington. I think the over under win total for them this year is 8. So
yeah.